everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be talking about brushes. I get asked pretty frequently what are some of my favorite brushes, what are some brushes that I recommend, especially for beginners, and so I figured that I would sit down with you all and talk to you specifically about which ones I reach for the most out of my collection. I don't have an extensive collection of brushes, but I do have quite a few, and I have quite a few here in front of me that I'm going to be talking about, because these are the ones that I mainly reach for whenever I'm going to be putting together any kind of look. So we're going to start off with eye brushes, and I can say before I get started that all of these eye brushes are Sigma brushes, Sigma beauty brushes, and the only reason why I tend to gravitate more toward the Sigma beauty brand when it comes to brushes is because I know that the quality is there and I know that the durability is there, and for the price, you just can't go wrong with them. I bought my first set of Sigma brushes about 5 years ago, and they've lasted me. They've lasted me this entire time. I've washed them I don't even know how many times, and so that's why I trust it, and that's why I go back to it. The quality is just, it's pretty good. The first brush that I'll start off with is this one right here. This one is the E40 from Sigma. It is their tapered blending brush. This is one of the first ones that I purchased from them 5 years ago, and it's still going strong. I use this brush for pretty much anything whenever I'm applying a transition shade, whenever I'm blending out underneath the crease and between shades. I love this brush so much. It's really soft, it's really fluffy, and it blends super, super well. And it's lasted me a really long time, so definitely a must-have for me. Another must-have of mine is this Sigma E25. This is their blending brush. This one is a little bit more stiff than the E40, so it's perfect for precision in order to get right in the crease and be a little bit more precise with your application. This is why I use this one a lot. And it's really, really good for blending out as well. So I can definitely say that I've put plenty of looks together just by using these two brushes and then just my finger in order to apply anything onto the lid. So if you're going to purchase any brushes, especially from Sigma, I recommend these two. Highly recommend these two. Another one that I'm sure you've seen me use on my channel is this Sigma large shader brush. This is their E60. I really like to use this brush, especially at the beginning of any look. I'm sure you've seen me use it before whenever I am going to be setting my primer on the lids. I apply some sort of powder, whether it be a pressed powder or an eyeshadow that is kind of like skin tone for me. I apply that onto the entire lid using this, and I just prefer it because it's really large, it's pretty fluffy, and it applies everything nice and evenly. Next one is the winged liner brush. This one is the E06. I love this brush so much because it is at a perfect length and at a perfect angle to where I go in and apply gel liner, and it applies it so smoothly, so perfectly. I don't have to worry about any kind of skidding along the eye, and it gets a really, really sharp edge. This one is perfect for that. Next one of my favorite brushes is this flat definer brush from Sigma. This one is their E15, and I'm sure you've seen me use it plenty of times, especially along the bottom lash line. This one is flat and it's definitely very stiff, so you can go in there with eyeshadow and be very precise as far as where you're applying it. I like to apply it as close to the lash line as possible, and this definitely allows me to do that. I just go underneath the lashes and I'm able to apply it really, really close to the lash line. This one, love it. Next one is this pencil brush. This one is the E30. I love it in order to diffuse anything that I have underneath the eyes. Or you can also use this in order to be really precise along the crease, or I also sometimes use this in order to apply any kind of highlight onto the inner corners of my eyes. Now we're moving on to the face, and honestly for the face I've only been using these four right here. A couple are from Sigma and a couple are from Luxy. The ones that are from Sigma are the Duo Fiber Powder Blush Brush. This one is the F15, and I love it simply because it is a duo fiber brush, and so what that means is that it's going to give you a softer application of powder onto the face, and that is what I love. And I have been gravitating more toward this one than the one that I used to use, which was the Luxy 504 large angled brush. I loved this one in order to apply my blush onto the cheeks, but then I started using this one and I can't see myself going back ever again, just because I don't like very, very intense blush on the cheeks. This one was a little bit harder to control as far as how much I was applying on the cheeks. Like sometimes I could go very heavy and then I would spend the rest of the time just kind of trying to blend everything out. out. And with the dual fiber one, I don't have to worry about it because it's going to give you a really soft application every single time. So you can slowly build up the intensity without having to worry about overdoing it right from the get-go. That's why I've been leaning more toward this one, but I still really like the Luxy one as well. One Luxy brush that I cannot get away from is this small contouring brush. This one's the Luxy 512. I use this all the time in order to really get a nice soft contour along the cheeks. I mainly just concentrate the product here. I don't like to really go deep with any contour or really go too heavy. So that is why I tend to gravitate more toward this brush. It's pretty dense and it's super soft along the top. So whenever I am applying my contour, I'm able to be very precise because it is so small and it is so soft that I'm able to blend everything out effortlessly. And the last brushes are the tapered highlighting brushes. This one is from Luxy, this one is from Sigma, this one is the Sigma 535, and this one is the Luxy 522. As you can see, the bristles on these are very different. This one is a lot fluffier and this one is just a lot more compact and soft. And so, not to say that these aren't soft, but this one's just a lot smoother. So whenever I'm going to be reaching for, let's say, my hourglass highlight, which is a lot smoother of a highlight, and it is in a compact, I grab my Sigma brush as opposed to my Luxy brush because I feel like you don't get as intense of an application with the Luxy with this particular type of a highlighter. But whenever I'm going to be applying like my Wet n Wild highlighters or like my Becca highlighters, which tend to be a little bit more, I don't want to say chunky because that's definitely not the word, but they tend to just be a little bit more glittery than like the hourglass ones, then I go for the Luxy one because I feel like it gives me a pretty intense highlight. It controls it, it distributes it evenly and softly. So that is all for this video. Those are currently all of the brushes that I would either recommend or repurchase myself because those are some of the brushes that I definitely cannot live without. Let me know in the comment section down below whether or not there are certain brands that you maybe perhaps love and that I should perhaps look into because I'm always on the hunt for a good value and good quality brushes. And whenever those two come together, then definitely that's something that I want to look at. So let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. As always, take care and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.